Hello, this is Matthew from truckhealthy.com, and today I'm going to show you how to cook healthy steak fajitas right in your truck. It's very simple, it's very easy, it's going to save you a lot of money, and it'll keep you from eating all that junk food in the truck stop. So let's see what we're going to use. So here's what we're using today. A little over a pound of beef skirt steak, 1 can of black beans, minced garlic, 2 packets of fajita seasoning, 2 poblano peppers, 2 bell peppers, 3 onions, some low-carb healthy wraps, and some additional spices. For preparation and cleanup, of course you need a sharp knife, plastic cutting board, which is optional if you have good knife skills, you don't need it. Plastic wrap, always use this before you start any cooking project. Line your bed area with it. Cleanup's easy. You're not going to make a mess on your bed. Plastic gloves. Whenever you're handling raw meat in your truck, always wear gloves, disposable plastic gloves. Quart freezer bags. What we don't eat, we'll portion it up and freeze it. That way, when it's ready to have a wrap, we're just going to stick it in the microwave and it's ready to go. Wet wipes. We use this to wipe down our peppers with. And paper towels. And I always keep a bottle of bleach and water in my truck to sanitize and clean with. And of course, we're using the Instapot. Before we get started, first thing I always do, sanitize it. Just to open it up, pour in a little water, close it back up, and just put it on a high setting. Meat or stew always works for me. And let that get up to a boil. Let it sanitize it and for maybe about 5 minutes, and then I'll go dump the water out and then we'll get started. Our Instapot is now sanitized. First thing we're going to do is cook the meat. So here's how we'll proceed. First, put on some plastic disposable gloves, latex or plastic, anything disposable. Just put the meat straight into the Instapot. And again, I'm using skirt steak. We're not going to handle raw meat anymore, so take these off, throw them away. Next, we're going to add a nice heaping spoonful of minced garlic. Let's see, there we go. And honestly, we're going to go with a little bit more than that. That's probably a tablespoon and a half of minced garlic. We're going to add both packets of the fajita seasoning. Just throw it right in there. See, little messes like that is exactly why I keep everything covered in this plastic wrap. Because messes are definitely going to happen when you're cooking in such a small area. And now, I like to add some additional spices. I've added just a little bit of black pepper. I like my food spicy. I'm adding just some additional salt. I've had this this particular fajita seasoning before. It's good, it's inexpensive, but it just needs a little bit more flavor to it. So just a little bit of salt, crushed red pepper. I always love my food spicy, so plenty of that. And also, the last thing, some cayenne pepper. And this really is going to set it off. Alright, now let's add 1/2 cup of water, or maybe just a little less, around 1/2 cup of water. That's all you need. As a matter of fact, I would just add maybe about a quarter cup is fine, because the meat's going to produce its own juices, and we definitely don't want this too watery, because then it's going to break our wraps. So about a quarter cup of water. If you need more, you can always add more. Now what we're going to do is give this a quick little stir. And we're going to stick it in the Instant Pot now. It's already in the Instant Pot, but we're going to turn it on and put some heat to it. That's that. It's ready to cook. We've got our minced garlic, our meat, our fajita seasoning, and additional spices, along with about 1/4 cup of water. Let's go ahead and stick this in the Instant Pot. There's a ton of different settings on here. What I'm going to do here is just put this on pressure cook, and I'm going to put that on low pressure, and I'm going to do that for 8 minutes, and I'll check on it after that. We're going to cut this up, and it's going to be sauteed here along with the vegetables. So if it's not 100% done, that's fine. It's going to get some more heat to it, and it's going to get sauteed. So 8 minutes may actually be too long, but we'll see. In the meantime, what we're going to do while this is cooking is cut our vegetables up. Let's do that now. So our meat's cooking, and now let's cut up our vegetables. First thing we're going to do, take a wet wipe, maybe take 2 of them, and just wipe down our peppers here. You should always keep a pack of these in your truck anyways. So I'm just going to wipe down my peppers, and again I'm using 2 poblanos and 2 green bell peppers. You can use whatever kind of peppers you want. Wipe them down. Wipe my bell peppers down. You know, and this is better than nothing. You know, it really is. They're gonna get cooked, but it's still better than nothing. Okay, because I'm not gonna take a colander inside the truck stop bathroom and wash these. I'm just not gonna do that. I feel like this is even more sanitary than doing that. This combined with the heat from cooking, I don't see the problem. It's always worked fine for me, and I've been cooking in my truck for a few years now. I said we were not going to use the gloves again, but that's not true. I like to wear the gloves while cutting up onions, because if you don't wear gloves, your hands will smell like onions for quite a few days. So, get our trash can here. The trash can I use is a simple 5-gallon plastic bucket you can get at Walmart, Lowe's, or Home Depot. It costs $5. I always keep a stock of heavy-duty trash bags in my truck. It's the perfect trash can. Every trucker needs to have those 2 things anyways. A 5-gallon plastic bucket and heavy-duty trash bags. So, our meat is done. We're going to let that sit in there. Let's go ahead and cut our onions. What I always do is cut the top and bottom off and just peel it. I'm so used to not using a cutting board, it seems easier to me to not use one. Just peeling the outer layer here. And I guess we can use the cutting board. Just cutting it into slices. And I'm not trying to make this real fancy. I'm not trying to mince this up. I just want to cut it up in some between medium and large size pieces. Again, this is just an all-purpose knife. I really use this knife for everything. I sanitize it after and before I cook with it, handle food with it, and I do all kinds of stuff with this knife. It's always good to have an all-purpose knife in your truck. And we're just going to put or cut up onions and peppers right here on this plate. Onions, of course, gonna make your eyes water up. That's just part of it. Let's keep on going here and cut these peppers up. Cut this up however you feel comfortable with. I always usually cut it like that and just take the inside out here. And since these are fajitas, I'm just going to cut them into just longer, thin slices like this. That's all you need. You're not entering a cooking competition. Not really trying to impress anybody. Just cooking some good, healthy, cheap food in your truck, right? Or another way to cut these, I guess, you could just cut the top and always save the edible parts. Throw away the core here. The seeds, they add flavor. Then you can just cut it from here. Maybe quarter it up and then just slice it lengthwise like this. You can keep them long, about this length, or you can cut a few in half. Like I said, we're not in a cooking competition here. We're just cooking healthy for ourselves, and maybe if you have a partner on the truck with you. That's definitely good enough. That's all we need right there. And since we got our plastic wrap down, we don't have to worry about making too big of a mess, although I wish I would have laid a little bit more down. So be generous with the plastic wrap. It's inexpensive, and wow, it'll really save you a lot of time and cleanup. The next step is removing the meat from the Instapot. It's finished cooking. It looks and smells so delicious. I ended up adding a little bit of extra water, so I do recommend using a half a cup of water with 2 of those packs of fajita seasoning. So, here's how I'm going to do this. You can do it any way you want to. This meat's getting cut up. Okay, I'm going to cut it up on my plastic cutting board. So, I'm just going to take it out of here. Like so. Let as much of the juice drip off of it as I can. Looks good. So now, let's cut this up. Looks really great. I do not keep any real forks or knives in my truck, any metal forks or knives or spoons in my truck. I used to, and I should get another pair. Just a spoon, fork, and a knife would work. But sometimes we have to improvise, so I'm going to take another small knife and we're going to cut this thing up. First, let's just sanitize that small knife. The big knife's already sanitized, and again, you always want to keep a bottle of bleach and water in your truck. So, sanitized it. Let's just cut it up the best we can, yeah? That's definitely good enough for me. The reason I didn't use a plastic fork on this, I've had plastic forks break, so it's probably a good idea to keep, one set of silverware in your truck, metal silverware. It's easy to clean and it's good for times like this. Anyways, we made it happen. You got to make it happen with what you got to work with. Next, let's add our vegetables to the Instapot on the saute setting. Now, let's go ahead, dump our vegetables into the Instapot. This is everything we cut up right here, and some of it left the plate and was sitting on the plastic. So, we'll put all that in there, and let's go ahead and just put this onto the saute setting. We're not even going to set a time for it. We're just going to do this for a few minutes until it's cooked to your preference. I like mine a little softer. Some people like their onions and peppers a little crunchier on their fajitas. Whatever you like. So, that's set. It's cooking. We're going to let that cook until it's the way you like it. Like I said, I like mine a little softer, so I'll probably let these cook and saute in here while stirring for maybe about 6-7 minutes. Doesn't that look delicious? So as you can see, this is really starting to cook down. It's smelling so good. Again, I've got it on saute mode on the Instapot. Our onions, our peppers, and our juice from the meat along with all the spices. And now, this is where our beans come into play. Let's go ahead and add our black beans. It's just a regular can of black beans. Open it up and just drain this out. You should definitely have a 5-gallon bucket with heavy duty trash bags. So I just drain this out right in there. And if you're cooking in your truck, you definitely need this 5-gallon bucket, heavy duty trash bags. So that's drained. Just add your can of black beans right in there. Perfect. Let's give it another stir here. Stir those on in. Oh, and it looks so good. And I want my onion and peppers to be a little bit softer, a little bit more cooked down, so I'm going to continue to let this saute for probably about 5 more minutes. Again, if you like crunchier peppers, crunchier onions, now would be the time to go ahead and take this off. But this is really starting to look good. All we have left to do after this is add the meat, and then it'll be time to eat. This is about what I'm looking for here. It's cooked down, it smells great, it looks great. I've got my beans, my seasoning, my sauce, my peppers, my onions in here. The last thing we need to add now is the meat that we cooked and cut up earlier. And by the way, cleaning this plastic cutting board later on is going to be very, very easy. I'm going to put on some plastic gloves, some disposable gloves. I'm going to wipe it down with paper towels. I'm going to spray it with bleach water, wipe it down, and then put some regular water on it, plain water, and just wipe it down again. It'll be clean, it'll be sanitized, very easy to clean up. Added my meat. Let's give that a stir. And that's done. That is absolutely done. You can do a taste test at this point. Add some more spices, some more seasoning if you like. But I'm going to go ahead, turn that off. Let's let that cool a little bit. Then we'll put that into a wrap and see how it tastes. While this is cooling, I'll go ahead and clean up as much as I can here. And here's how I'm going to do that. Again, got to keep some disposable gloves in your truck. Put these on. The plate that we cut up our vegetables on earlier, I'm going to save that. I'm going to eat off of it. Always try to save money and save materials where you can, because everybody tries to take advantage of us out here. Earlier I was at a TA and I saw like these little bitty small breakfast burritos and small little breakfast biscuits, $3.75 a piece. It's that's crazy. Come on now. So clean up. Got our paper towels. We've got our plastic bottle with bleaching water in it. All we're gonna do, and we've got our 5-gallon bucket here with the heavy duty trash bag. So just gonna start off and wipe off what I can into our trash can. Get any kind of whole food off of there. Clean it up as best we can. And now, all I'm going to do is the surface where we cut up the cooked meat on, or even if it's raw meat, it doesn't matter. This is going to sanitize it. Just spray it with bleach, and of course, we've got our plastic wrap down here. Nothing's touching our bed. This sanitizes it. Got a sink you can go to, sure, that'll work too. But like I said earlier, I'm not going to take any of this stuff into I'm at a Petro. I'm not going to take any of that to the men's restroom at Petro and start washing it. Our bleaching water solution, we've got that on there. I'm just going to hold it over our trash can and wipe it down. Wipe down the front and back of it. Let's give this one more spray, one more wipe down with our bleaching water solution. There it is. Spray it down again. The little cuts in there that the knife made, this is going to sanitize all that, kill any kind of germs. Again, wipe it down. Wipe it down over our trash can. Anything that comes off will just go in the garbage now. It's not all over our truck. So that's clean, that's sanitized. One last thing I do is, since that was a bleach and water solution, even though it was just a little bit of bleach, I'm just going to put some regular water on it. And again, this is right over my trash can. So any extra water, it goes right in there. Just do that. And wipe that down. And before you use this again, it's clean, it's sanitized for now. I can put it up and I can store it until next time. Before you use it again, you can get you another wet paper towel and wipe it on down. That's clean, that's sanitized, all right? We're gonna store that now. I'll put that up later. And it's for the knives we used, okay? Same thing. Paper towel, get any big pieces of food off. And now, spray it down with our bleach solution, our bleach and water solution. Cooking in your truck does not have to be hard at all. That's clean, that's sanitized. And that's clean, and that's sanitized. Like I said, if you're going to use this on food again, feel free to wipe it off before you use it again. I've been doing this for a few years now, just like this, and everything's worked out just fine. So, move everything out of the way. Our plastic wrap, where we cut up everything on and we use, simply fold it up and just throw it away. Our bed stays clean. You got to have that plastic wrap with you. So our bed's clean. Our fajitas are cooling down, and here in just a few minutes we're going to put one in a wrap and see how it tastes. Our fajitas have cooled a bit. We've got our wrap out. I'm using the plate that I cut up the vegetables on, and we'll just spoon some on there. And this is enough for, wow, maybe a good big 8 to 10 fajitas. We'll just spoon that right on there, like so. And as this cools, it'll thicken up. Some of this water will evaporate off of it, so no problem. Let's go ahead. We've got it spooned on there on our healthy wrap. Let's go ahead and wrap this thing up and give it a try. And there it is. It's a healthy fajita wrap. Feel free to make this recipe your own. Go to my website. The recipe's in a simpler, easy to read format. The purpose of these videos is to show you how easy it is to cook in your truck. Any of you guys can do it. It doesn't take much. You'll save money. It's key in becoming a healthy truck driver. Eating healthy and exercising. You'll not only save money, you'll live longer. Okay? So you enjoy, and thank you so much for watching. And that's absolutely delicious. Mm.